Alright guys, today I'm talking about the Egyptian house of NILAFAR DU NIL. I'm doing a top 5 list today as they have several new fragrances that have launched, and I'm going to highlight them in today's video. But last year I did a video on NILAFAR DU NIL, and they had just launched Nilufer. It was one of my favorite fragrances of last year. It's an amber fougere fragrance. Really love the way this smells: warm, spicy, nutty, almondy, combination of notes with lavender. If you didn't catch my video yesterday announcing my latest ScentClub kit, this is actually featured in that ScentClub kit. You can go catch that. I have the video linked in the info box, and also I have the link to my website where you can go discover all the fragrances in my latest ScentClub kit. But I'm doing a top 5 list today. There's 2 bonus fragrances, and NILAFAR DU NIL is doing 1 full bottle giveaway of choice to a subscriber of this channel from the world. Find out all about NILAFAR DU NIL coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yesterday we're talking about the house of NILAFAR DU NIL. Have you guys discovered this house yet? Let me know, put a comment down. They are now selling in the States, but I also have their website linked in the info box. You can go visit their website and learn all about their fragrances, or also go catch my video from last year, highlighting some of their fragrances. But why don't we go ahead and get started. We're going to start out with Jardin de la Bergamote at number 5. It's a 2021 launch, Eau de Parfum concentration, and this one, as 100 ml, retails for 75 bucks. So really great prices in this house. Fairly inexpensive for niche fragrances, and this is definitely a great summer. I guess I would call it a cheapie, inexpensive, because 100 ml for 75 bucks. To me, this does remind me of something like a Bergamot 22 from Le Labo. So if you're looking for a great alternative for that particular fragrance, this is definitely one for you to try. So it does have those similarities, but what I like about this one is the bergamot. It's a bergamot bomb, so if you like this juicy, crisp, fresh, clean smell of bergamot, definitely check this one out. But it does feature that bergamot. It's in your face. It's a lot of bergamot here, along with Petitgrain, Neroli, Grapefruit, Musk, Ambroxan, Vetiver, and lime. So there's definitely like earthy woodiness when it's drying down, but this is, to me, a very, very fresh, refreshing, invigorating, sparkling, juicy, tart, bitter, green experience of citruses. It does eventually get, as I said, woody in the dry down, a little bit ambery from that Ambroxan note, but what a pleasure this is to wear in the summertime. I love it. This is Jardin de la Bergamote at number 5. Moving on to number 4, a recent release from 2022. This is TOWA, this one right here. TOWA is fairly new to me, and I've ranked it here at number 4. It's a very, very complex fragrance compared to Jardin de la Bergamote. Really, really overly complex. This is a 2022 launch, Eau de Parfum Intense Concentration, 100 ml for $100, and the perfumer for this fragrance is Moellhausen. So it does feature notes of oud, coffee, cardamom, incense, rose, Egyptian jasmine, heliotrope, benzoin, and amber. So there's definitely the presence of oud here, but for me it's kind of like oud along with cardamom coffee, a Middle Eastern coffee delicacy. If you've ever had this combination, cardamom and coffee together, you'll definitely spot it here in this particular fragrance. But this particular fragrance not only does it have its woodiness and ambery touches along with its oudiness, there's a rose presence here. So for me it's kind of like not necessarily Intense Cafe, which Intense Cafe is, coffee and rose. Here, it's a very spicy take on the coffee and rose thing, with the oud, of course, the presence of the oud here. But this is also coffee grounds and perhaps black coffee, and in this case it's the Middle Eastern coffee with a cardamom experience. So there's definitely the presence of rosiness. If you like the idea of Intense Cafe but it's all milky, here we don't have that milkiness. It's more powdery, and there's definitely a floral touch here with the jasmine, some smoky touch as well, and then of course ambery touch in the dry down. I think this is a really, really solid fragrance. The quality is great, and also the price is really, really decent here. 100 ml for $100. The only thing that there's a negative about this, but it's not necessarily a negative, it's because it does smell like some other stuff I have smelled, but it's a fresh take on a coffee rose kind of an experience with cardamom. Make sense? So the coffee cardamom experience I experience in something like Kilian's Intoxicated, but of course that fragrance does not have oud, it doesn't have rose, it doesn't have incense. So not only do you have something like that with the Killian's Intoxicated, which to me is very simplistic. It's not very full of notes. This is overly complex. So you've got a lot of stuff going on here, and it's a unique take on something with coffee, cardamom, and of course oud and rose here. So this is TOWA at number 4 from the house of NILAFAR DU NIL. Alright, at number 3, another 2022 launch. In fact, they have launched 3 fragrances this year so far. At least that's what I think. This is the second of the third I'm going to talk to you about, and this is TANIS TABAC, this one right here. This one actually is so delicious to wear in the heat. I feel like TOWA can be a little complex and overwhelming in the heat, so kind of control your sprays. But with this one, TANIS TABAC, a tobacco fragrance, but very, very floral. It's beautiful to wear in the heat. This is once again created by Michelle Moellhausen. This is the first time I've learned about this perfumer, and that she's done 2 perfumes for NILAFAR DU NIL. A 2022 launch. Once again, it's EDP Intense, Eau de Parfum Intense concentration, and once again, 100 ml for $100. Great, great price. This fragrance, to me, has a little bit of a vintage quality, but very unique because it seems like it's going to be full-on floral bouquet, which it can be, but it does eventually build to become a little tobacco-ish, a little warm, spicy, a little ambery, and things like that. It features notes of tobacco blossom, Egyptian jasmine, Casablanca lily, tobacco leaf, sandalwood, musk, honey, cold incense, cardamom, suede, nutmeg, black tea, tuberose, and cloves. First thing you need to know about this one, this is a floral bomb, so you have to enjoy flowers. Like it's full of flowers. Not only do you have the tobacco blossom in here, you do have the tobacco leaf. So there's not necessarily a full-on ashy tobacco experience. It's more of like a grassy, leafy experience along with the blossom, so it's floral. As I said, this is a very, very floral experience, and the flowers are really, really in your face. You got a lot of flowers here, in addition to the tobacco working beautifully, the tobacco blossom working beautifully with the Egyptian jasmine, and that Casablanca lily in here is also quite beautiful. But what's left here, you do experience some tuberose as well. That comes in. So these are all big white flowers. There's honey. There's the sweetness of the honey. But typically I see honey with like tobacco, the ashy kind of tobacco. This time we're experiencing with the flower, the blossom, and then of course the leaves here. So it creates for a very, very unique experience. Eventually it does have a leathery experience. It does have a warm, spicy experience. And that tea comes in as well to give it a very kind of a cozy experience. But I do get something slightly classic here. There's definitely like a vintage vibe, which is kind of a unique experience for me for a great smelling fragrance. It smells great in the heat too, even though it has the warm notes and things like that. I think the flowers give it a lift, that give it an airier quality in this particular fragrance experience. That's why I feel like it's a wonderful wearing experience. So this is TANIS TABAC from the house of NILAFAR DU NIL. Have you guys discovered that fragrance yet? Do let me know. If you like tobacco fragrances that are not going into the ashy, smoky, section of or area of tobacco fragrances, definitely check that out. And if you like white flowers with a little bit of a uniqueness and a little bit of a vintage classic vibe, definitely try TANIS TABAC. All right, at number 2, going to the newest launch from NILAFAR DU NIL, and another fragrance created by Chris Maurice. This is TIBA, this one right here. And again, a great smelling fragrance created by Chris Maurice. It has his signature touch here, and it's a wonderful offering. This is the most expensive fragrance in the list. The NILAFAR DU NIL fragrances are all different prices. They're not all the same price. Kind of like Frederic Malle. If you go for like Portrait of a Lady in comparison to Musc Ravageur, you're going to pay different prices. Same thing here. So this one is the most expensive. As I said, it's $149 for 100 ml. And for niche and a fragrance created by Chris Maurice, I think this is definitely worth it. He's done a great job with this one. It's very, very chocolatey. So when I first started sampling this on a strip, I got no chocolate, but when I started wearing it, it fully goes on gourmand and also kind of wine. Like there's a red wine note in here. You definitely experience it. It's not boozy, but you can experience the kind of like what was I going to say? The kind of grapey kind of like maceration. So it's almost like you experience wine with chocolate together and made into like a cream experience with rose, and that's what I was getting with this particular fragrance. So it's Extrait de Parfum concentration here, so it's a longer lasting fragrance. Obviously it's more expensive as well, and it features 3 kinds of roses. You've got Centifolia rose, Turkish rose, Damask rose, along with dark chocolate, red wine, cardamom, bourbon, cacao, amber, vanilla, tobacco, suede, sandalwood, and raisins. So you've got raisins, dried grapes, and you've got wine from the grapes, so it's kind of like a grape experience, but I wouldn't call the grapes that are in here, the raisins and the wine, like the main star. For me, it's the roses, and a lot of the roses, and not only they have 1 kind of rose, not 2 kinds, but 3 kinds of beautiful, beautiful roses in here. It smells fantastic, but the combination of chocolate with roses, it's like a Valentine's treat come to life in perfume form. Exactly. And that's what I get with this particular fragrance. So you have red wine here. You really experience it, and you also experience that cardamom here. It's pretty prominent. In fact, I've seen cardamom come up in several of their fragrances, and I feel like cardamom is a great Middle Eastern spice. I really love it. It's not a warm spice, it's a fresh spice to me, and it really complements the fragrance here beautifully because it adds this fresh, invigorating touch with it, with its spiciness, with its spice, you know, like its pungent spiciness. There's also the cacao here, which I feel like the cacao adds to the chocolate. It intensifies it kind of in a powdery direction. And then of course the bourbon whiskey is in here as well. There's that kind of a booziness in here, but really delicious. The fragrance settles to an amber, leather, woody experience, but absolutely a delight to wear. This particular fragrance is really great, very long lasting, definitely has the Chris Maurice touch. So if you like his fragrances, I'm a fan of his fragrances, you're gonna probably like this one. The only other thing I should say here is I was expecting oud, and the fragrance, when you wear it, there's definitely that kind of Middle Eastern oudy kind of a backbone or cover, or you know, something in the background is trying to come out, trying to experience like oud, but there's no mention of oud. But at least I get something like that here in this mix. Anyway, noses are different, so I'm just preparing you guys that you might experience that as well. But a really solid release from this house. This is TIBA from NILAFAR DU NIL, and that's at number 2. And you guys probably already know my number 1. This is the fragrance that's featured in my second ScentClub kit. It's Nilufer from NILAFAR DU NIL. I instantly fell in love with this one because I like the combination of the nuts in this particular fragrance. In this case, it's almonds and hazelnuts with the lavender, and of course the warmth. I really love fougères. I think as a kid my dad wore so much of them. It's kind of really left an impression on me. And I also like warm fragrances, ambery fragrances, vanillic fragrances. So the idea of combining warm fragrance ideas like gourmands with fougères barbershop fragrances is really a great to me. And that's what they've accomplished here with this particular fragrance. This is a Chris Maurice created fragrance once again. This is not as expensive as the last fragrance. It's $110 for 100 ml. But once again, it's Extrait de Parfum concentration, and it was launched in 2021. Features notes of vanilla, lavender, almonds, hazelnuts, heliotrope, cinnamon, cedar, myrrh, musk, geranium. So geranium and lavender are typically found in fougères, right? But you got the nuttiness here with the almonds and the hazelnuts. Very cool. I like that about it. It's an almond bomb. You experience it. You also have heliotrope, which is this beautiful purple flower that creates a powderiness and another almondy touch. So you gotta like almonds to appreciate this particular fragrance because there's lots of almondiness here. But you know, it eventually becomes woody and ambery in the dry down or this particular fragrance. So you have that kind of warm fougere experience with this. Really a delicious fragrance. I actually think it's a great scent. You can call it a gourmand, you can call it a fougere, and you can call it an amber fougere. The combination is great. So that is Nilufer from the house of NILAFAR DU NIL. That's at number 1. I hope you guys learned some stuff about NILAFAR DU NIL's fragrances. These are some of the better fragrances as of late. I have the 2 bonus fragrances as well. Probably those are the more popular fragrances for this house. I'll get to them after the outro. Let's do the giveaway. one full bottle giveaway to a subscriber of this channel. You can also pick from one of the bonuses as well. Please put a comment down below to let me know what you liked about this video and which fragrance you would select as your fragrance of choice. If you're commenting from the USA, please put down your state. If you're commenting from the rest of the world, please put down your country, and make sure you're subscribed to this channel to qualify. Anyway guys, thanks so much. Oh, I do have to say one more thing. Be very aware of scammers. Please be aware of scammers. There are people commenting not only on my channel but all over YouTube trying to scam people into contacting them and to give, like you would give their your info to them, and they would ask you for money and things like that. The only person that announces giveaways on this channel is me. So if you don't see a comment from me and that they're asking you to contact them, it's a scam. Do not contact them. Block them. Report them to YouTube so that they don't scam you and other people. There's a lot of it going on, and it's not only on my channel, as I said, it's all over YouTube. So the only person that's going to announce you as a winner of this giveaway, it would be me, not somebody else pretending to be me. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Alright, for the bonus fragrances, I've got two fragrances from the house of NILAFAR DU NIL that did not fit the top 5. The first one is Meidum. This one right here launched in 2021, and it's 100 ml for $75. As I said, these are very inexpensive fragrances for niche fragrances, but these two fragrances seems to me very, they seem like very mass fragrances, so I think they're fragrances that people are going to really fall in love easily. They don't seem very niche is what I'm trying to say. But this has notes of lavender, metallic notes, sage, cardamom, olibanum, leather, myrrh, nutmeg, coffee, and bergamot. It does have a very clean vibe to it, very metallic, very aromatic. There's some spiciness and also citrusy touches there. You can experience the herbal qualities of the aromatics and spices in here. Eventually it becomes an amber, so there's a very soft, spicy experience when you're wearing this one. And of course it does have a metallic touch. Anyway, that is Meidum. Check that out if you don't know it. And then finally, this is Narmar. Narmar is another kind of sort of similar but different fragrance experience. This one goes into a leather direction a little bit, but this one was launched in 2020, and 100 ml is $85. As I was saying, all the prices are different, so these are different prices, just like the House of Frederick Malle, where they price fragrances differently. This one features notes of cardamom, suede leather, cashmeran, lavender, tobacco, clary sage, tea. This is very aromatic, and there's that spice of cardamom that comes up again. Really love this spice. Everything makes it very fresh, spicy. There's that pungent quality of a cardamom. If you ever want to smell what cardamom smells like, a great way to get your nose trained with the notes and fragrances, open up a jar of cardamom, smell it, and then smell fragrances that feature them. See if you can find the smell. I can totally spot it in this particular fragrance. So it's very, very aromatic, spicy here. It does have woody touches, and it's a very, very fresh experience, and it has a little bit of a powdery experience, and it eventually becomes kind of leathery, lavendery. So this is Narmar. That is the second bonus fragrance that did not fit the top 5, guys. Do let me know if you're a fan of this house, or if you're curious to discover this house. As I said, this is an Egyptian house, and the prices are really, really great, so I hope you guys get to try them. And please make sure you go check out my latest Scent Club kit, where I have featured Nilufer as one of the fragrances. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good one. Bye bye.